Fourth Way by P.D. Ouspensky. And this is the conclusion of Chapter 7. Question put by Ouspensky. Is there a place in the static triad where a group of eyes unconnected with magnetic center are active and false personality is passive? Answer by Gurdjieff. When I said that certain groups of eyes or personalities become active, I meant those that are centered around magnetic center. First, magnetic center itself, and then those eyes that range themselves around magnetic center are opposed to false personality. Then, at a certain moment, magnetic center becomes active and false personality passive. Magnetic center is a combination of a certain group of interests or likes. It does not lead you, for leading would mean progress, whereas you remain in one place. But when things come, then with the help of the magnetic center, you are able to see which is which, or whether you like or dislike a thing. You can then make a choice. Before one comes into the work, magnetic center is a certain point which has transformed itself into a certain group of interests. When one meets the work, it becomes interested in schoolwork and then disappears as magnetic center, because magnetic center is a weak thing and becomes transformed into what may be called work personality. This diagram is intended to describe the initial stages of the work, and so I've put in very few of the combinations which might be shown. For instance, at one of the initial stages, we can draw a triad with body, soul, and essence at the apex, false personality on one side, and many eyes already divided into certain groups on the other. One of these groups is magnetic center, but there are also other groups which may not be attached, but still not hostile to the magnetic center, which can exist and eventually develop into something better. The group of eyes which are always hostile and always harmful are false personality. Does the change from one form of static triad to another depend on the change of being? Yes, every small change is a change of being, although this expression is generally applied to bigger, more serious changes. When we speak about change of being, we speak about the change from man number 1, 2, and 3 to man number 4. For instance, this change of being, but of course this big jump consists of many small jumps. This static triad is merely an auxiliary diagram. It represents you. It shows the state of your being, what you are at a given moment, and helps you describe to yourself all the stages you pass through, from the ordinary mechanical existence to development. In this way, you do not describe it in words, but give a complete picture of it. Our aim is to become one, to have one permanent I. But in the beginning work means to become more and more divided. You must realize how far you are from being one, and only when you know all these fractions of yourself can begin to work on one another, or the same principal eyes around which unity can be built. It would be wrong understanding to apply all these things you find in yourself now. The new I is something you do not know at present. It grows from something you can trust. At first, in separating false personality from you, you try to divide yourself into what you call reliable and what you find unreliable. When in a state of doubt, try to remember and try to bring up other eyes which have a certain valuation. This is the only way to compare doubts. In order to develop, you must have some capacity for valuation. The only practical approach is to think of the different sides of yourself and to find the sides that work and the sides that cannot. Some people have real values, some have false values, and some have no values at all. It is the same with eyes. People can spend their lives studying systems and system words and never come to real things. 3/4 or 9/10 of our ordinary knowledge does not really exist. It exists only in imagination, but this work must be practical from the first. You must understand that without work, without the system, one can do nothing. If one begins to work, one has a chance. But even in the work, there are dangers. For if people think that they can do something and at the same time refuse to work on acquiring control, if they remain theoretical too long and do not realize that no kind of change is possible without big efforts, if they go on putting off these efforts until tomorrow, then this continual hesitation begins to produce an effect, and after some time there comes a dangerous moment. It does not come in the beginning, but only if for some long time one goes on without making sufficient efforts or without doing anything seriously. Then, instead of one can become split into two, so that all features and all personalities are divided into two groups, one part useful to the work, helping personal work, and another part indifferent or even unfriendly. These two groups can continue to exist side by side, trying not to come up at the same time. One may come in the morning, another in the evening. This is a real danger because the two parts begin to form like this. The indifference of one spoils the results of the work of the other, and in this way, development stops. This second part need not necessarily be bad or antagonistic to the work, but only weak, and weakness and strength cannot grow at the same time. So it's necessary to struggle very quickly and ruthlessly against that, otherwise it may lead to double crystallization. Question: would one know if these two groups of personalities were forming in one? Answer: if one learns to observe oneself, one can find when it begins to happen, and then one must not let it go on for too long, because it will become every day more and more difficult to struggle with it. But it manifests itself differently in different cases. Question: is that a case of acquiring a lot of knowledge without understanding? Answer: no. Even understanding is possible in such a case, only without action. You see, even knowledge and understanding cannot help if one does not work on being. It will not grow at the same time. One can understand and not be able to do anything. If people wait too long without making serious efforts or serious decisions, they may have the beginning of this double crystallization. Then they can get no results in their work, and after a time they may even get wrong results. And that concludes chapter 7. And this is pretty dense, isn't it? So if you have any insights into what I've been reading, what Gurdjieff has been saying, please let me know in the comments below, because we don't want to get bogged down in this. Hopefully chapter 8 will be a little easier to understand. Well, thanks for listening. Till soon.